Welcome back from the break. We're here at the Sheraton Kampala Hotel, and we are talking about the signs that women need to look out for to know that a man is supposed to, or rather is ready to take it to the next level. So there's the key.
Yes. And that's what we're talking about. This can be the physical key, which means you can come and open my house
At any time.
at any time. That includes Saturday morning, when you know my favorite day is Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, you're literally coming
to
into
check.
my space at
It's
that
all
time. because
access.
It's all access. And this can mean the physical key. This can also mean
A
that
giant
you're
bank
welcome
account.
into my life anytime. You do not need permission. Okay? You do not have to call me to ask me if I'm home. You do not have to call me to know if I'm at Kisementi, because you know that's where I am. You can walk in anytime and be there, as opposed to me telling you I'm going to be watching soccer with the boys. Come and I show you off, or come and we go and watch it together so we can be seen together.
So
Okay,
I
just
think
to
we're
add
gonna
on to the
give
list.
you the
That need to
remote
be picked
control,
up.
you know, for the TV.
One of the things that need to be
'Cause I
picked
didn't
up
give
here
out that.
is for me, not giving, and just to clarify again, I don't know whether we caught it or not, but I didn't give a key to my wife, and I mean the way that our relationship began was a bit unique in any case, but because I didn't give her my key doesn't mean that I didn't let her into
Your life.
into my life,
Absolutely.
etc.
Yeah.
Something else that I wanted to say is that a lot of times this thing of keys, a lot of people talk about men's cars being their
Toys.
toys. It's like a second wife or second,
They-
second girlfriend. If
I call
it's-
all my cars have names.
Have names, yeah.
Girls' names.
also if
Oh.
depending depending on how the guy feels, depending on how the guy feels about his car,
Yeah.
if he's willing to give it to you in conjunction with other signs to look out for, that's another thing, because some guys will not, doesn't matter, they will not give their car to their brother, they'll not give it to their friend.
Yeah.
But if this special piece of machinery is
Toy.
handed over to you,
Says a lot,
that's
yeah.
So basically what you're saying is that if a guy lets a girl into his control room, if you like,
Yes.
into
His space.
into the stuff that
Yes.
matters.
Yeah.
You know, because I know some guys who are dating girls who have no clue about how much he's worth, have no clue about
What do you mean how much is what?
Yeah, in
like
terms of
the
how much
stuff
money
he's
he's
got,
got.
and stuff. I mean,
What is
zero.
if he's
She
got any
knows
investments, nothing about
Okay.
him. Yeah.
She
some
They should know.
she doesn't. Oh, that's another. That's
The
for
point
another day.
at which they
she,
know.
She doesn't know. She doesn't know
If she knows.
where you know.
Okay, let's say whether a man works or not, or where he works, but their worth.
Yeah.
Yes, like does he own property?
Yes.
Yeah.
She needs
And
to-
you're
I
dating
think,
this
I
guy
think
seriously
also,
3-4
I think
years.
also
Because
here,
by the time a
where
guy
if I can
opens that-
support what he's saying,
Yeah.
is when actually a man gets too open and openly discusses his life. He discusses his private life, if you want. Then
like
you
his
know
girlfriend.
he's sharing so much with you. Okay. At the end of the day, he's opening up to you. He's having an open discussion with you, and then he gets kind of further to want to also understand you, listens out to you, and in most cases he wants to find out your background, your parents. If you were the big sister, how were you acting? He wants to know the kind of person he's talking on as a wife. Are they responsible? Give me a chance.
You see,
Give me a chance.
the trouble is here is that
Joseph
those,
mentioned, said you might have mad relatives.
So he has to understand your
when you have mad
background.
relatives, that person does not even have to be your wife. You
Yeah,
know,
that is the reason.
the
He
trouble
wants
is-
to understand you. He wants to know you more. Where do you work? What do you do? When you are stressed or pissed, how do you act? You know,
You see-
he wants to understand you.
Might
And
be a
if
serial
he
killer.
goes, if he goes that extra step to interested and is ready to listen to you, you could see a guy who is actually ready to listen to you.
okay, what
and
I'm
even
saying here
goes
is
ahead
those
to actually
signs
go
are not
on and
different from those from a situation when a guy just wants something from you. Men have mastered this. They know what you want.
that
They know
actually
what
now
you're looking
brings me
out
to
for.
another stage. If a guy is actually calling you all the time, having open discussions, finding out how you are you well, did you sleep well, as opposed to somebody who calls you when he wants something from you, or he only calls
Sandra,
you.
you know
Someone has
what?
done
Add
these
detail.
things and he's not
Hold on. When he only calls you when he wants to go out, when he only calls you when he wants something from you, then you better reevaluate that relationship.
Sandra,
because
how
at
do
the
you,
end
how
of
do you
the
separate?
day,
How do you separate the real thing? And now this is my question to you.
yes,
How do you separate the real
Too many
thing
assumptions.
from the masqueraders? And I'll just give you one simple example. We call it, me and the doctor call it intense realism.
which
It's a
doctor is this?
There's a,
There's a doctor.
My best friend, my best friend is called the good doctor, and he calls it a moment of intense realism, where you absolutely focus and you tune out everything else, and this woman is the one focus, and you want to know everything. You'll call them, you'll do all these things, but you see what he was saying, and what he's saying is, and actually what he probably said, when it comes to the moment of commitment, when you come to the edge, you've done the calling, you've done everything, and he just won't leave. We had a session here on delayed proposals.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking to Andrew, and Andrew was saying, I'm not married. And so it was these situations where people are dead for forever. But at the moment of committing, how do you know he's ready? And I assure you, from a deeply personal point of view,
That came from far.
That came from far.
Down there.
yes,
Okay.
from a deeply personal point of view, I think that doing all these things are indicators. But at that moment, at the moment of the jump, the pretender and the real guy they're almost, until that point, they're all the same.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you something. You cannot steal forever. One day you'll be called.
Yeah.
If I'm in a relationship with somebody, for example, if I'm in a relationship before my husband got married to me, and we are seriously in a discussion, and I ask out for his future plans. If in his future plans I don't future anywhere, or he does not have, not necessarily me, but if in his future plans there is nothing like when we get married. If we get married, that's a different thing.
My worry is actually that you sat here, and I'm worried if you listen, if you pick anything from the 5 men, because it's as if you're telling us about you, what you think and what you think you know.
What women look out for.
Yes, and I don't
You know what the danger is?
Peter, they've said to you, Kampala Sibizimbe.
Joseph is going to protest right now. We always have a parting shot in the show, and we've reached that time because we really are out of time. But so what I'm just going to ask is all the chaps, and we'll finish with you. So first of all, just tell us 3 things.
Why not start
you
with
believe?
them?
No, because it won't end. But we want you to tell us 3 things that ladies can look out for to know that a man is ready to move on to the next level.
When a man lets you into their life and you do not need permission anymore to be in their space, that's the number 1 sign. For me, I can take you to my parents. Yeah. I can even accept to come and have lunch with your parents. That's probably a Sunday where I'm bored and everything, and you've mentioned this for a year, and then I come over. That does not, okay, it can mean a lot of things.
It's not a guarantee.
But it's not a guarantee.
Yeah.
The one guarantee you can have that this man wants you for the long haul is when they let you into their space. That means they have chased out everyone else.
They've
It's
cleared
just
you.
for you.
They've given you
Okay,
space in the
all
wardrobe.
these are things you're talking about, they can do with everyone
Yeah, but
else.
those
while
are the
they're-
signs that he's actually
Can I
let you into
speak?
his space.
Hey. Peace.
You see, all those things you're mentioning, I can do with you today, with another person tomorrow, another person the other day. But when I let you into my life, it means I've cleared it, there is no one else. Or if there is someone else, they are at risk, because anytime you're coming in and maybe you can even shoot them dead or whatever. So for me, that's the one sign. It can be physical, it can, whatever, for as long as they let you into their space without permission.
Ransom, your 3.
Look, I don't disagree. We didn't get to say very much. I don't disagree with the things that were said as signs. But what I will say is you mustn't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions that the things that you look out for are the things. Because from men's point of view, saying it to women, there are a lot of guys who are doing all these things and then still not getting married. And that's the very reason why this topic came up. What are the signs to look out for? And really, if you take to heart what both Colin and Joseph have said, the issue of letting you totally being given free reign, being given free reign that is the ultimate sign. It's not so much about going out or meeting parents or whatever. It's the ability to do all these things without any encumbrances. It's being given the key to the city, so to speak. That's
Okay. Colin.
I remember I was dating someone, and I knew that we're ready to move to the next level when one day they came to my house, and I'd actually cleared out space in my closet for them. There was stuff for them, so they could almost literally leave at my house, and I would not mind if they just said, "Oh, I'm going out, I'm checking out of town, I'm going away." It was fine. It was fine. But at that moment, when I found that I was comfortable with them in there, because I had a set of habits. I hung out at the same place. So if they wanted to hang out with me, they just come and find me there. If they wanted to, if they just said, "Oh, I'm going home, you find me home," it was fine. That the fluidity of the relationship, I think, allowed me to be able to say yes. That notwithstanding, because the media and whoever has put out this list so many times about what's necessary, what can be done, the people who read these things, the players of the game, they are smooth, they are fast. Some of them are called by different names, different cultures, they're different people. But yes, they've learned this thing, and they will play the game, get the cookie, and be gone. Now, we can watch for the signs, or we can actually just be able to read people and be open to the fact that the list and the signs will change. Be able to pick out the red herring from the real gold. I think that's, for me, that's my biggest worry. Because right now there's a lot of women who have a list, and if you check the list, if you keep checking the list, first of all, there's a fear he's passing too highly. But also, you could just be from a different dynamic, you're from a different background, so you're a different guy. So you're not checking anything on the list, but you're still ready to commit. So it's important to, one, spend the time, and then you know what the red herrings are, and then the real McCoy.
Well, thanks. Chris.
Mine, I think, is very simple. Most of the time, when a priest is getting a couple married, they say something like, you go to say, "All I am, I give to you. All I have, I share with you." And I think that is absolutely important as a sign for, if a guy is literally, and I totally agree with everyone, all the guys, what Colin has said, we may have different perspectives. The key thing, your space, living in my house thing, I don't do. I didn't do, and I have my reasons. But I think that the principle is the one I agree with. That when a guy says, "Come into my world, have a piece of me any day you want," in the sense of, look, you want money, it's no longer my money, it's our money. You want, whatever. So it's about a guy giving himself over and his stuff over, which is really our tools of control. When a guy lets you in to co-control stuff in his life, which is, I think, what we're all saying, that's a big sign. So what I'm just saying is that let's not look for a key, let's not look for a certain physical thing, because it plays out differently in different cultures, different religious beliefs, different scenarios, right? But the point is, when a man is willing to let a woman, because in principle, marriage is about having a helpmate, someone who's going to help you in life as you carry on. So if a man sees a helpmate in a woman, he's going to show signs and do things that say, "I need you. Your opinion matters to me. What do you think?" Like, for example, when my fiance and I wanted to buy a car, I was going to pay for the car, but I needed her to be there to choose the car. And when we got there, there's all these brokers and everyone saying, "Choose that car, choose the other car." And I said, "Look, guys, give us some space." And I asked her, "What do you want? Let's talk about this." So when a guy is able to do that, which is like the key, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then he's committing.
The remote control.
Or even the remote control, whatever.
All right, Chris.
Yeah.
And now, Sandra, your parting shots.
Well, like I said at the beginning of this show, that what ladies look out for to see if a man is serious, it's a combination of signs, okay? It could be a variety of signs, and it's not guarantee. It's just to support you. and at the end of the day is having quality time to understand each other. And the moment you understand each other, you know the next move that the guy is going to make, whether he's serious or not. And you can tell when in his conversation, that he takes out to, in his goals, you know, you feature somewhere along the way, then yes, you could start counting it as a, you know, as a sign. And you said, like, yes, the key, that is letting you into his space. That means he's not going to let you down when it comes to commitment. He's there for you all the time you need him. He's committed to you in terms of if he has plans, he doesn't cancel them. He doesn't cancel your calls. If, you know, there's time for you, okay? And yeah.
Well, sometimes he can cancel your calls because he's in a meeting.
Yeah, and then he'll call back to apologize why he had cancelled your call.
Okay.
So it's the commitment that really matters.
Okay, so
and once you read between the lines,
we need to address this, Peter.
when you read between the lines, then you can see there's some commitment at the end of the day.
The man may bring
Oh.
his real estate
Now,
investment plan,
sorry,
and then
we've
someone
got to
comes
close
and
this show.
buys him
Thank
the
you very
land.
much for being with us. This is Men. Have a good night. Don't forget, we need to hear from you. This is your show. Get to us on Facebook. It's NTV Men. Like it and give us your views. You can also send us an SMS 6565 or send us an email. That's men@NTVUganda. And on behalf of the crew who've done a fantastic job, our producer,
This particular show.
and yes, especially on this particular show, we want to say thank you and also a big thank you to the Sheraton Kampala Hotel. Have a good night.
One more depending on a breath, and we all look away. People pretending everywhere. It's just another